So most of you have joined. So a very good afternoon to all my fellow mates, respected faculty members and esteemed guests. I, Khushi Mudgal, on behalf of Jagannath International Management School, Vasant Kunj, would like to welcome our honorable guest, Dr. Pranjal Kumar Phukon, all the faculty members and the students of the Management Department to this special workshop on problem solving and ideation. This session is organized by the Institution's Innovation Council and the Entrepreneurship Cell of JIMS Vasant Kunj. The primary mandate of E-Cell of JIMS is to encourage, inspire, and nurture young students by exposing them to new ideas and processes resulting in entrepreneurial activities and successful business startups in the formative years, fostered through network of E-Cell in higher educational institutions. The Institution's Innovation Council, IIC, was established on 21st November 2018 at JIMS Vasant Kunj as per the norms and directives of the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Innovation Cell. Government of India has established MIC at AICTE with the purpose to systematically foster the culture of innovation in all higher education institutions, HEIs, across the country, resulting in innovative activities in their formative years fostered through the network of innovation clubs in higher educational institutions. Now, it is my immense pleasure and privilege to welcome and introduce Dr. Pranjal Kumar Phukon. Sir is the most inspirational speaker and expert in his field. Sir embodies that blend of experience and expertise. Sir has completed his graduation from BIT Sindri, Jharkhand, Vinoba Bhave University, Hazaribagh in BTech Production Engineering, and MBA from Nashik, Maharashtra in Operations Management. He is a fellow member of Indian Society of Mechanical Engineers, ISME, Indian Institute of Production Engineering, IIPE, member of Institution of Engineers, IIE, Indian Institution of Industrial Engineers, IIIE, International Association of Engineers, Hong Kong, and advisory board member at Besto Edutrex International, Mumbai. Sir is also the ambassador at MTC Global, Bangalore, and the associate member at All India Technical and Management Council, New Delhi. His professional experience largely consists of internationally acclaimed professionals having more than 25 years of industrial and academic experience with operations management, economics, data analytics, entrepreneurship, learning, and development domains. He's also an advisor to IIT Guwahati Research Park, IIM Calcutta Research Park, Kolkata, and iSpark Learning Solutions Private Limited, Chennai. He is also the chairman of Indian Chamber of Commerce Northeast Committee on Banking and MSME. He is a resource person to various institutions and university like Kaziranga University, Jorhat, Assam, University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, Assam Downtown University, Guwahati, Assam. He has authored the book titled Limits to Infinity, published in 2013, which is available online on Amazon, Flipkart, and ShopClues. It is a huge opportunity for all of us to learn from you, sir. And now I would like to invite Dr. Pranjal Kumar Phukon to enlighten us with his knowledge.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Good on.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm thankful to Dr. Seema Vadhavan for introducing me to JIBMS. It's a great opportunity to interact with you all. Today, the session is basically on problem solving and ideation workshop. It's a huge module actually, but I will try to make it up in 25 to 30 minutes so that you can understand the basics. And you must be knowing that time constraint is always with the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs has not much time nowadays because of digital transformations and many other things. So you should be very agile. You should be very agile in your thinking. You should be very flexible, agile and flexible. You should be also very adaptive. So let me just start my sharing my screen so that you can understand it. Yes. So I think my slide is visible now. The topic basically all you know is problem solving. It's one part, and ideation is second part. But these are all the part of five design thinking approach. But I am here introducing you both traditional and traditional means which is presently going and design thinking approach. So first of all, being a student, you should know what is the phrenology of an entrepreneur. So he should be or she should be able to create own reality, should have the self-esteem, should have the work ethics, should have the trust, creativity, focus, and patience, charisma, and everything. So this is called entrepreneurial creativity, which is the components of creativity to make you understand that what is the need of yours in the market, what is the need of yours in the economy, why you are want to be an entrepreneur, or why you want to start a business. So for this, you need to know that the main components are basically four, that is expertise, creativity, creative thinking skills, and motivation. So if I drop down, then obviously expertise means you should have the technical, procedural, or intellectual knowledge, which is not gained in a day, which is gained through experiences, experiential learning, which I focused always in with my mentees in incubation centers. You should be flexible enough, so that how flexibility and more imaginative approach people approach problem, because we are thinking of solutions on an empathy basis, that is human consciousness. And motivation is basically the intrinsic part of the any person, and it is more effective than extrinsic. So all these things, if we combine that expertise, creative skills, and motivation, it comes down to the creativity. So it is all about coming up with the innovative ideas and converting them into value creating profitable business activities in future. So entrepreneurship basically is an act of being entrepreneur is defined as you have to initiate innovations into the businesses situations so that you can transform them into economic benefits for the country and for the globe in particular. So for this, initiative and innovation is the two important elements for entrepreneurs to get successful. So you should always know this thing, that business is not about the idea of power, but the power of ideas. That's the reason it is called ideation nowadays. So because if you have the power of ideas, then obviously business will get success. So the starting point of any business organization is always to have some powerful ideas, innovative ideas, novel ideas. So an idea worth thinking about, an idea worth enhancing about, developing it, and also an idea which is worth converting into business. That is the main focus of this particular session. So this is just an introductory session, whereas the detailed analysis and detailed activities needs to happen module wise. So first part is problem solving. So what is problem solving? Basically, to understand this, you have to, it is an act of defining. You have to define the problem. You have to then generate the new ideas. Then you should go for evaluating and selecting the solutions and implement and evaluate. It is something like PDC, a plan, do, check, act type of things. So according to LinkedIn research, it has been seen that overwhelming 68% of professionals surveyed, they have cited problem solving above time management. Means problem solving is the most priority of any business, then time saving, then empathy as the critical leadership quality. So the leadership quality basically means that if you're going for a job also, then you should have this purpose in your mind, that your maximum percentage of your focus should be on problem solving, then it should come on time management, and then thirdly is empathy. So there are some five primary steps in problem solving. Like first, you should know how to analyze the cost to the unwanted situations. What are the causes? Like many types of causes, ways to find out the causes, I will discuss in coming slides. Number two is how to generate a set of alternative interventions to achieve your end goal. The third is how to evaluate the best solutions. Fourth, how to implement a plan. And fifth, you should know how to assess the effectiveness. It should be a continual cycle, not a continuous, but continual plan to check act. So these are some of the problem solving steps. Four important, 7 steps are there. There are many types of steps are there, but 7 steps I think it is important for you. First, define the problem. Second, how to disaggregate. Thirdly, how to prioritize. Fourth is your work plan, analyze, synthesize, and communicate. This is basically, I have put this slide purposefully because you are, this is basically to check out that whether we are doing this problem solving process in digital transformation. So here I am putting some what called CT. CT means computational thinking. So it is the computational thinking. The same things are there. If you see all 7 steps, but it has been changed in relation to the present situation of digital transformation. That first component is decomposition algorithm, which we call identify the problem. Second component is called data collections, data analysis, pattern recognitions, abstraction, which we call research the problem. Third is basically develop possible solutions, which we call in CT component as conditional logic, simulations, modeling, data analysis, communication, heuristics. These things are basically AI enabled things, artificial intelligence point of view. Fourth is like conditional logic, data analysis, communication, which we call in other terms as selecting the best possible solutions, and how to build a prototype, because prototype is a part of the ideation process, which comes after problem solving techniques. So in this, basically, we come for the conditional logic, data analysis, and communications. Then we have to test and evaluate the prototype, where we need city components like heuristic, data collection, data analysis, communications. And in the redesign and as needed for betterment, it is basically is conditional logic and data analysis, big data. So these have added separately, because we should know that what is going on presently in the situations, that we cannot just ignore this computational thinking part in problem solving techniques. So these I'm skipping because this is particularly related to engineering and science research oriented. So that's why I put one slides. Now the types of problem solving, as you have seen, but best part is that in the present situation, if you combine this present going and these advanced technologies, emerging technologies, then basically we should think the problem solving in 4 parts. One is correction, one is the other is corrective action, prevention, and preventive action. So this basically correction is basically the instant action which is taken to correct the non-conformity or to reduce the impact of non-conformity happening in any services or supplies or products. And what are the actions you have taken to remove this cause? For this, you need to have these pain points or problem statements notified. And prevent is to basically to eliminate the cause of potential non-conformities if it is coming and running and every time in the continual basis. And for this, you need to have some preventive action in place. So this is the same thing I'm just putting out. Now going for this critical problem solving techniques, because problem solving techniques are different and critical problem solving, some of the problems are critical. So how to go for it? There are some very global norms on this. You should know these terms. You should understand these terms. Like first is synaptics, which is basically it always helps to inspire thoughts that you may not be aware of. It is happening through team building. Second is TRIZ method, which is called theory of inventive problem solving. It is also based on logic, data, research, not intuitions. You should note that. Then brainstorming, you all know. Mind mapping basically to help you to keep your ideas organized in a graphical manner. And reversal of problem. Sometimes the problem, this technique is required to reverse this because it forces you to think about the problem from a new perspective, the perspective which you have never thought of. And another is called scamper. If you break the scamper, is basically substitute, combine, rearrange, eliminate, put to other use, magnify, adapt. So these are some of the critical problem solving techniques apart from seven problem solving tools which I've discussed. TRIZ separately, if I say TRIZ is very important for because it is used basically for the products, and it is a very old system, and this is not new but very relevant to the present situations also. Because if you see the companies like Ford, General Motors, Samsung, LG, Intel, Kodak, P&G, Motorola, HP, Rolls-Royce, etc., they are basically adopting this TRIZ methodology for going for the problem-solving activities. Then one more problem-solving technique is there called VITAL, which is basically meaning that verify reality, inspire ideal outcomes, tackle the gaps, agree actions, and learn and review. So this is also very effective. There are many techniques are there. It is depends on the case to case, like which technique needs to be adopted. Then there are some scientific methods and 8 discipline problem solving process. If I go for this 8 discipline problem solving process, basically it is being taken care by the manufacturing industries like Ford. It basically starts with how to state the problem, how to understand the problem, to propose, define, and refine the prospective solutions, and critically assess those solutions, select and implement the most advantageous solution, measure the result, communicate, and identify. So, but if you see for the scientific methods, that is a very simple flow diagram. If you see, we have to ask a questions, then do the background research, construct a hypothesis. Basically, it is also happening during research scholars activities. Then you need to test an experiment. Procedure is working. If yes, then you can go ahead. You can analyze the data and draw some conclusions. If no, then again you have to go back with the troubleshooting procedures. Other methods are like PDC, as I told, plan to check act. Then DM AIC methodology is there. Where to go for design, measure, analyze, improve, control. Then 8D problem solving methodology is also there, where there are 8 types of pointers are there, like define the team, describe the problem, interim containment, how to analyze the root cause, define corrective actions, implement corrective action, avoid recurrence, and congratulate the team. This is basically 8D solving methodology. I will be sharing these slides with Dr. Sima Madhavan ma'am, and she can circulate among you, so that if any questions comes later on, then you can communicate with me for detailing on this. In artificial intelligence, already I discussed. So now, without this, my PPT is not complete. That design thinking is also very important part in problem solving process. They are basically some of the pointers where we need to understand what is, what if, what was, or what works. So these questions comes into mind in principle of design thinking, where there are 4 underlying principles, like human being. All design should be of social nature, ambiguity. Design thinking preserves and reserves ambiguity. We have to redesign, or in fact redesigning the existing process, and tangibility. So this is the design thinking, which also take care of ideation. So I want to show this slide, and like empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test. These are basically 5 pillars of design thinking. So this has to have a very separate workshop, very detailing, because all entrepreneurs activity starts with design thinking, starting from problem solving, ideation. Then you have to build a prototype, test the prototype, and go for the proof of concept. So so this part I'm skipping because again it's repeating. So now what are the barriers? You should know. Now I'm coming directly to the main part of the story today, that is ideation workshop. You should understand the difference between innovation and invention, basically. So invention is like process of introducing something new, but innovation is basically to solve a genuine problem, to add real value to the customers, and drive growth for the creators. So in case of invention, basically we ask only one question: is it a novel idea? Other than that, in case of innovation, we have whether it is having any affordable idea, is it a doable idea? So all business begins with ideations. Ideation should be the first investment of anybody who seeks to be an entrepreneur. The single most important activity or any entrepreneurs or small business manager is to generate business ideas which are implementable. So idea generation happens basically is a creative process where the generating, developing, and communicating new ideas with the innovation, development, and actualization. It's a thought cycle. Basically, it is a cyclic process. So approaches should be through brainstorming, or it can be through the improvement of an existing product. So ideation basically is like when you are having this thought, like I have an idea for a book, I have an idea for a video, I have an idea for a website, I have an idea for an app, I have an idea for a physical product. So these type of ideas may come up. Let's start with a blank sheet of paper. As an entrepreneur, you can also work on almost any idea you can imagine. There is no limit to it. So you can run this process called IPE. So this is helpful, and you also develop ideas, choose an idea, prove that there is market for it, and prototype the idea and make a MPV, minimum viable product. So what I was saying here is, what is IPESSI? It stands for basically ideation, prototyping, evaluation, scaling, sales, and improvement. So they are basically 6 steps. So all these steps you need to go through. Then only you can have this proper process of going through IPSSI activities or ideation process. So it always ideation process. The first thing is idea need to have idea generations, and after that you need to have to some refinements, because there will be many ideas. So the idea generation part will be basically your ideation process, and refinement basically is to that, because you have lots of ideas. So this is time to you have to narrow down, because you cannot go with all the ideas. So you have to do it as many times as necessary, and vigorously debate those which remains with constructive criticisms. And by end the process, you will have to arrive and on a particular idea that whole team believes and excited to execute, and then you have to go for prototyping the idea. This is content optimization of the ideation process, so that you can reach the prototype building activities for getting an MPV. So techniques of brainstorming, you all know, this is not need to be discussed. So 5 phases of ideation is that you have to first, you have to prepare, you have to incubate, you have to illuminate, you have to evaluate, and you have to implement. So these are some of the techniques which already I've discussed, like brainstorming, scamper, worst possible idea, challenge, assumptions, and analogies. So these are basically brainstorming. 3 types of brainstorming are happening: brain dumping, brain writing, and brain walking. In case of brainstorming, so brain dumping is basically similar to brainstorming, which is conducted individually. Brain writing is basically like when individuals write an idea on a paper and it passes into another participant for his feedback. And brain walking is basically, instead of passing the paper, participant walks through the room and find the side solutions where they could discuss separately. So these are some of the ideation techniques. In Scamper, as I said, already discussed. So worst possible idea may be there sometime. So you should not get worried about it. So for example, if you're given to come up with the worst idea, the worst possible wo- 1 minute, huh? Something. Huh. What I'm saying, like sneakers that play music when you walk. So these are some of the worst ideas. A sneaker that will light up when you walk, a sneaker that has mirror for you when you bend to see your face properly. So don't afraid about that. These worst possible ideas also comes with some creative solutions. Then you need to have the position of challenging the assumptions as a group. So some questions that are obvious, like do doors always have handles? Do phones really need to have a cable? Do cars need to have steering wheel? So these techniques can be done in 3 simple steps. You should list all the assumptions, challenge the assumptions, and find ways so that you can make challenge the reality. Ideation methods for any incubation center or pre-incubation centers in any institute or any other places. The ideation method always happens like this. First of all, you need to have a problem solution. This is the simple method of progress. Then you have to go for derivative ideations, which involves taking something which already exists in the market, and you have to challenge the assumptions. Then symbiotic ideas, which occurs multiple ideas are combined. Then you can have the revolutionary ideas, where they break away from traditional thoughts and you are creating a new brand of perspective. And serendipitous discoveries, like coincidentally is happening or developed without intention of the inventors. And then comes targeted innovations, artistic innovations, and philosophical ideas. And last is computer assisted discovery, where you use the AI enabled tools. So basically, is your great idea real business? Which is said by the Christopher Steiner, that there are 12 questions which need to help you to separate the mere clever from the ideas that stand a true chance, to sift out the true business opportunities from the sand of merely bright ideas. Would be the entrepreneur ask these 12 questions. So these are 12 questions you should ask yourself whether idea is real or it is just an ambiguous. So first of all, you should always ask yourself whether you are feeling a void, whether your idea pass a life fire test. Do industries expert hate your idea? Does the idea has shelf life? Whether there is high barrier to your entry of your idea? Is your idea scalable? Means growing. Can your idea be priced attractively in the market? How much fund will be required for your idea? How large is the idea market for your idea? Is the idea truly a standalone business, or it has an add-on features? Means the existing business, you are just adding some features. If aren't, if it is not your idea, then would you put money in it? Means you should always wear the shoes of the investors. Can you pitch your idea in a business in 20 seconds? So these are some of the 12 questions you should ask yourself before summing up or coming down to one idea for start of prototype development. So these are some of the stupid online business ideas. Someone thought stupid, but they made millions. Like If I say that this is actually a company where they're charging $1 per pixel, that perhaps the dumbest idea for online business anyone could have possibly come up. But still, Alex Tew, a person who was 21 years old, who came up with the idea and now is a millionaire. So similarly, one more stupid idea like get a postal
No
address.
panic.
So finally, the McKinsey company says about the ideation process very simply that if there is one successful innovators have shown over the years, it is that the great ideas only that come from the unexpected places. Who could have predicted that bicycle mechanics would develop the airplane, or US Department of Defense would give rise to a free-wheeling communication platform called Internet? So no one discussed, no one thought of, but these are the power of ideas. Similarly, the senior executives who are looking for ideas about how to make their companies innovative can also seek inspiration in surprising sources like Exhibit 1 Brad Bird, Pixar's two-time Oscar-winning director. Bird's hands-on experience approach to foster creativity among animators holds powerful lessons for any executive hoping to nurture innovation in teams and organizations. So these are some of the examples. So it shows the power of ideas. But the most important thing I should add this, without this not complete, that you should be in the position to protect your ideas to intellectual property rights. One is copyright. So how to you can protect because it is very much required. Then your confidential agreement with your investors, with your partners. Then you can also protect your ideas through patents, which is given for a period of 20 years in India. Then copyright basically protects your creative works. It also endures the lifetime of the creator and 50 years after his death. So with this, I am closing my PPT due to shortage of time. It is 12:49. Ma'am told me close it at 12:50, so I am just closing at 1 minute before. Now, if you have any questions, actually this subject is very huge. So detailed analysis or detailed talk needs to be have with the entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, so that they can start with your ideation process in a proper manner, scientific manner, so that they won't get frustrated that I have an idea and it's not working. It should not be like that. So I'm open for any question. If you have any, then I will be glad to answer.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing this insightful information with all of us. And it was indeed a wonderful session, and I'm sure that everyone learned a lot from it. And now the platform is open for the questions. So I would like the participants to either write in the chat box, or you can also unmute yourselves and ask your questions. Go on, participants, with your questions.
If no one has any question, then I like to touch upon one important thing, that for any ideation purpose, always go for selecting problem statements, and it should be not less than 9. You should have 9 pain points, and you just brainstorm on it, 9 pain points with the ideation and clustering process, which is part of design thinking. You just do the clustering process, means as much as possible your solutions, you make it out solutions to those 9 statements. First of all, 9 statements you need to select out which is be more relevant for you to go for. Out of that 9 statements of a particular problem, you just select one and go for brainstorming and for clustering of ideas. And after clustering of ideas, take out the most prominent 2 solutions and try to develop a prototype, not hardware prototype, but you can make on drawing also, and discuss with your mentors, your industry experts. And when it is coming to some particular understanding, then you can go for hardware prototypes, or you design some solutions to it if it is for services. And you should consider it as your minimum viable product and try to prove it. It is a proof of concept for getting grants. Initially, you have to get grants, you cannot get loan. So with the help of grants, you go for MPV, minimal viable product. Once you prove the concept, then obviously you can go for taking loans from venture capitalists, angel investors. These are all separate topics. So they are, as I told, there are 5 pillars. No? So obviously you need to understand the 5 pillars in totality. so that your concern for starting a business will not be a failure. It will always be a success. Those successes will be slow, obviously, because nothing comes fast, but it has to be very steady, and it should be sustainable. That is my point, because you need to scale up to the level of exiting from this through your IPO or listing in the Sensex. So this is not just a small idea to all aspiring entrepreneurs. Don't get afraid to for this competitive world. Everything is available here. Only thing, you need to be smart. Smart means you need to have a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timeline. And obviously, with the support of your faculty members, your experienced faculty members, and if you have any contact with the industry experts, mentors, and obviously things will come up, will take a shape.
Thank you so much, sir. And if the participants, the feedback form is shared in the chat box. Everyone has to fill it. And also the platform is open for questions. I would like you all to please ask the questions which you would like to. Is there anybody who wants to ask the questions? Sir has shared such insightful information with all of us. Surely you would have some questions. You can either write it in the chat box or you can unmute yourselves also.
One best way is to inculcate this atmosphere of ecosystem of innovation and innovative mindset, is to start collecting the ideas as this varies basis from the students on any sectors. And you can also draw up a competition among themselves of whose idea was the best, which can be compete for this particular part going for prototype development. This is also one way you can incite excitement among the students and faculties also, because otherwise people will think now whether my idea will be workable or not, what others people will think about my idea when I express. Don't afraid about this. Ideas are ideas. You have seen the power of ideas. I have shown you.
Yes, sir, exactly. And so would you like to add anything more?
No, mine is complete.
Okay, sir. So I, on the behalf of JIMSVK and Kunj, would like to thank our guest speaker, Dr. Pranjal Kumar Phukon, for taking out his time from his busy schedule and for enlightening us with his knowledge. And today's webinar was really full of knowledge and interesting facts, and I'm sure that everyone learned a lot from it. And I would also like to express my special thanks to our faculty coordinators, Dr. Seema Vadwan, Faculty Coordinator of ESL, Ms. Divya Gupta, Faculty Coordinator of Institutions Innovation Council, and our Head of Department of Management Studies and Head of ESL, Dr. Nidhi Gupta, for providing us with this opportunity. With this, we come to the end of the event, and thank you all for attending this session. I request all the participants to kindly fill the feedback form which is given in the chat box.
Yeah. Can I leave, ma'am? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for providing us with such
you.
insightful information.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, everyone, for being such patient listeners. Thanks a lot. And the feedback form is open for a while now. You can go on, fill the forms up till then.